Good afternoon, everybody. It's Lorraine Alternative Homesteading, and I hope everybody's doing well. Today it is Thursday, September 26th, 2024, afternoon. Very rainy, overcast here. It's supposed to rain the next few days. Shout out to everybody in Florida. I hope you're going to be safe during this upcoming hurricane. And I want to mention some things that has happened over the last couple of days. Now, I don't mind helping people, but I think you need to understand where I live, what my life is like, and how busy I am, and the fact that I'm trying to decide how best to sell this property. Okay? Over the last 2 days, I get frantic messages on comments. I'm going to be murdered. I have severe anxiety. Blah, on and on and on and on. This stuff. I'm a targeted person and a content creator here. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a judge. I'm not a medical doctor. You're not a client of mine. If you're not a client, I'm not going to help you in that way. And for the most part, the people that mention to me, I don't know you. Never met you. If I spoke to you maybe once on the phone, but to come at me first thing in the morning, whatever it is, about how anxious you are and your anxiety and stuff, when you're living with somebody that can actually help you, that you can speak to, and to dump that on me, I think it's wrong. I really do. I will use my platform, my channel here, if somebody is truly in need and I have validated that need, and I will mention it on my channel. You know, if anybody wants to reach out to you guys, you know, like what happened with Karen with the hospital. We won't go there right now, but please, I'm one person. I'm a targeted person also. I have dozens of animals that I have to take care of. I wake up and the first thing I do is I start my day after getting dressed, compiling dishes and dishes of food for all of my animals, and then cleaning out 2 chicken coops, cleaning out litter boxes, vacuuming. This is all for my animals. It takes about 2 hours. And then it happens all over again in the evening. So please, unless it is absolutely urgent, unless you are really in danger of being unalived, and using that in the subject heading that you're being unalived, don't do it. Don't be the little boy or little boy that cries wolf, because then it will be to the point where I won't want to help anybody. So please don't do it, okay? I'm just going to be really firm on that. And I will help anybody and use my platform to reach out to people, possibly in your area, but don't abuse the privilege, and please don't spam me, okay? So, along those lines, and most of the other channels don't discuss this topic. And when I came into the community, there was only one person that who had a website, who actually discussed the witchcraft, and that was Dr. Eric Karlstrom. And I very much appreciate his gang stalking, mind control, witchy poo, I'm going to call it, website. There isn't anybody else out there. Not the one that filed the lawsuit. Not anybody else. Well, there are people that have written books on it, for sure. But there isn't anybody else talking about this very real thing that's happening to everybody. And for the person that left a comment, if I'm a believer, I don't know you. My religious beliefs, my sexual proclivities, my political leanings are nobody's business but my own. And I'm certainly not going to post it in a comment section to a stranger. Okay? It's nobody's business. If you want to post something thinking that my subscribers would be interested, then feel free, go ahead. Don't ask me those questions. It's an invasion of my privacy. It's none of your business. I'm not trying not to be rude here, okay? But really, how do you come off asking that question? So anyway, many people, particularly if you own a home, and if you're a real targeted person, okay? Not one that thinks that they are, that, you're an agent, whatever. You will be assaulted, especially if you're at a higher spiritual level. You will be assaulted with rituals by witches. You will be surrounded by witches and witchcraft. They will leave their symbols around for you to find. Okay? And that's been happening to me when I lived at 52 Sutton Drive in Manalapan and here in rural Kentucky. And I am surrounded by witches here. I would venture to say that Kentucky is the satanic witch capital of the United States. And actually, I posted a comment to somebody on a homesteader's channel, and the woman chimed in that she's from Kentucky, actually not too far from me. And I said, Kentucky has a lot of Satanism, and she agreed. She's been here for her whole life, lived off the land and everything, and she absolutely agreed with what I was saying, and a lot of people from Kentucky will concur. So that's the subject for today, because these witches cast spells, and it doesn't matter if you're Christian, it doesn't matter if you believe in Buddha or Judaism or Allah. It doesn't matter what you believe. You don't have to believe that witchcraft exists, but it does exist, and it will affect you, okay? So now, going back to the roots of Freemasonry, the roots of Freemasonry is Satanism. Their God, when they talk about God, is not Jesus. It's not the master of the universe, although they may consider their master of the universe, Satan, to be the master of the universe, okay? Their God is Satan, Lucifer. And once you understand that, you'll understand everything that happens in the country, in the world, and in your targeting experience, okay? And, they look at us as being ignorant. The truth is in plain sight for eyes who see. For eyes who see. They leave their symbols everywhere. They show you who they are. You just need to pay attention. And they use spiders, insects, and witchcraft. And believe it or not, I asked ChatGPT. I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked at some of the information that I receive. So I asked, why are spiders and insects used in witchcraft and witch rituals? I keep, please forgive me, because I use a play on words. I call them witchuals and bitchcraft, and I call them WAPs, the witches on patrol. Why are spiders and insects used in witchcraft and witchcraft rituals? Please tell me about the spells that use spiders and insects and their binding spells. This is the response. In many magical and spiritual traditions, including certain forms of witchcraft, spiders and insects are used symbolically or ritually for various reasons. These creatures often carry deep ancient symbolism and are believed to possess specific qualities or energies that can be harnessed in spell work. The symbolism of spiders and insects in witchcraft. 1. Spiders. Spiders is the creation of fate. Spiders are often associated with creation, weaving, and fate, largely because of their webs, and in many cultures, the spider is seen as a symbol of the interconnected of life, weaving the threads of destiny. And in astrology, there is an asteroid called Clotho, which is a spider. Oh no, I'm okay. I'm thinking about the other one. It's Arachne. Arachne is an asteroid symbolic of the weaving of webs and spiders. Clotho is something else. Patience and craftsmanship. Because spiders carefully and patiently build their webs, they're sometimes used in magic involving patience, strategy, or skill. Shadow work and transformation. Spiders dwell in dark, hidden places, which makes them potent symbols for shadow work, facing inner fears and unconscious parts of oneself, transformation, and navigating complex or hidden matters. Protection and binding. Their ability to ensnare prey in webs makes spiders powerful symbols for binding spells and protective magic, where the intention is to trap or contain something or someone. And I'm just going to say it for the record. I'll go to sleep at night and I wake up with spider webs in every corner of my house, outside, inside, the other buildings or whatever. And one of the things that I do, and they drop these huge spiders. It's one of the first things I do when I'm feeding my animals is I pull all the webs off and I carefully remove the damn spiders. And yeah, I will pick them up. Like, they're huge. You just pick one up by one of their little feet and just toss it. Insects. And here we go. And also this relates to DARPA. DARPA. Insects. Transformation and metamorphosis. Insects like butterflies and moths symbolize transformation due to their life cycles from larvae to pupa to adults. They're used in spells that deal with personal change, spiritual growth, or rebirth. You know, like MK Ultra, and they use the butterfly. Yeah. If you ever see a celebrity with a butterfly over their mouth or in their hand or in their hair, you know that they are an MK Ultra victim. Persistence and survival. Ants, beetles, and other hardworking insects symbolize resilience, survival, and perseverance. They are used in spells to boost endurance, strength, and prosperity. And then there's the connection to Earth. Insects are closely linked to the natural world, often used in earth magic and spells that seek to align with nature's cycles or energies. Now, you have to understand that there are good witches and bad witches. You know, I don't care what people say. There are people out there that perform rituals for the good of the world. You know, they perform visualizations. They want to put the energy out there. They'll have healing circles and get together and put the positive energy out there. And they may use these ritual devices. But then there's the bad witches. You know, like the Freemason, loser, Deluminati witches on patrol, the WAPs. And they like to bind people. They want to bind me from selling this property. So they're going to cast their spells, destroy it, like they did in New Jersey when I found all of their witchcraft in the four corners of my property. And just like they're doing here by dropping little triangle pieces of glass everywhere. So the spider web for binding spells, the purpose is that binding spells aim to restrict someone's actions or bind them from doing harm to you or others. Well, wait till you hear the end of this, men and women, boys and girls subscribers, and how to use it. A spider's web, naturally found or collected with care, can be symbolically or literally used in a spell. The practitioner might visualize trapping a harmful person or an innocent one or situation in the web, thus binding their ability to harm or interfere. And then there's an example ritual. You might wrap a piece of paper with the person's name or harmful habit on it and put it in a spider's web, using it to represent entanglement. The web serves as an energetic trap. And this is what these witches are doing to you and to me. If you're trying to sell your property, this is what they're doing. So once you're aware of it, being aware of it is the first thing. Being aware and believing that it's being done and talking about it is important. Exposure is everything. Then there's insect-based divination like scarab beetle. The purpose for scarab beetles is used in ancient Egyptian magic for protection and renewal. Similarly, other cultures use insect-based divination to gain insight or answers from the spiritual realm. And how are they used? Insects are often observed in nature as omens or portents. You know, they portend a certain outcome or behavior or thing or event. Their behavior, direction, or species might offer clues to the future or messages from the spirit world. Number 3. And the Native Americans, by the way, are very big on animal and insect symbolism. And what they've done is throughout decades and centuries observe the behaviors of animals and then relate those behaviors to events that are happening at that time. They make a correlation, so to speak. Number 3, butterflies for transformation. The purpose is butterflies represent transformation and change. They might be called upon during rituals focused on personal growth, overcoming challenges, or seeking to embrace new beginnings. How to use. In a transformation spell, you might use butterfly imagery or ethically collected wings or representations to embody the energy of change, visualizing yourself shedding your old form like a butterfly shedding its cocoon. It can enhance the power of the spell. And I'm going to tell you that when I lived in New Jersey, I would find monarch butterfly wings spread in my backyard. And they were doing the MK Ultra on me back in New Jersey. And I think it's cruel what these witches do, because they do torture insects as well. They pull the wings off of healthy butterflies. And they do other things too. We'll save that for another day. Number 4, bees for abundance or community spells. The purpose is that bees are often used in spells relating to prosperity, productivity, or building community. And how do you use it? Honey or beeswax is frequently used in spells to sweeten a situation, attract abundance, or bring harmony within a group. Bees symbolize cooperation and collective effort, and spells invoking bee energy can help in situations requiring teamwork or manifesting abundance. Now let's talk about the binding spells. Binding spells are commonly used in various witchcraft traditions to prevent a person from causing harm or to restrict. It's saying restrict harmful situations. But what they're doing with me is they want to restrict, prevent the sale of this property. They want to prevent me from moving on because they know that even though I'm a targeted person and I will move on, I will be moving on to a better place that is much better than here. And they want to restrict that because they don't want to lose their income and their sadistic pleasure of harassing me. They can also be used for self-protection to limit negative influences or energy, and spiders and their webs are often used in binding spells due to their natural associations with entrapment. So yes, they spread these disgusting webs everywhere. And they put these little tiny spiders. And I can attest to the fact that Connie Marshall in Louisville, Kentucky, I receive her emails sometimes, says that she's experiencing the exact same thing, and she's like 2.5, 3 hours away from me. Same state though. Like I said, Kentucky is the witch capital of the country. The basic binding spell. Ingredients. A black or white cord, and this is why when you find these materials, you'll know that somebody has cast a spell. You may not find these ingredients, but this is what these witches are doing. so that you can visualize breaking what it is that they're doing. They may use a black or white cord or thread symbolizing the binding, a piece of paper, and a spider's web. The ritual is that they will write the name of the person or situation that you wish to bind on a piece of paper. As you tie the knots of the cord, you recite the binding incantation, visualizing the energy of the person or situation becoming entangled or restricted. So this is where you would do the opposite, right? So when you know that they're creating these binding spells, you do the opposite and undo their spells. You may incorporate a spider's web into the binding process using it as a physical symbol of the entrapment. Finally, bury or hide the bound object in a safe hidden place to complete the spell. And this is what I found in New Jersey. Of course, I had a much smaller property, but I found all of their witchcraft in the four corners of my property and in the dead center. Found it all. I dug it all up. And yeah, there were threads. There were pieces of thread. Then sometimes they will bind with candle wax and insects. They'll use a black candle for banishing or binding. They'll use a few insect specimens, hopefully ethically sourced, but not usually, thread, and herbs for protection like sage and rosemary. Their ritual, they'll use candles, and they'll use the melted wax to seal the insects and thread together. See how disgusting they are? Symbolizing the entrapment of harmful energy. And then they will chant their intention, visualizing the insects or thread representing the person's harmful actions or influences being bound and unable to spread further. And this is where you can bind them and reverse it. Then there's the spider spell for protection and binding. A spider can be used symbolically for protective binding. The practitioner may call upon the spider's energy to create a protective web around them or their home, preventing harmful energy from entering. A spider image or figurine can be placed at the home's entrance or altar to ward off negative influences and trap malevolent energies. In conclusion, spiders and insects play an important symbolic role in witchcraft and magical rituals, often representing qualities like patience, transformation, entrapment, and endurance. Their use in spells, especially binding spells, is tied to their natural abilities to ensnare, transform, and survive, making them powerful allies in magical work. While many of these rituals depend on personal belief and tradition, they often emphasize the connection between humans and the natural world, using creatures of the earth to channel energy and intention. And as I mentioned, that all of these rituals, all of these symbols can be used for the greater good, for the good of the humanity, or for evil. And the people that are targeting you and I are doing it for evil. They're psychopaths. And when I say witches, now you have to understand why witches were burned at the stake. Now, I did some research on that, and unfortunately, back in the day when that was happening, they would burn women just for having intuition, for having an intuitive hunch. They would consider them to be a witch. But literally, I think that they should burn these witches. I think they should burn them down. I think they need to burn these witches because they're sending negative energy out into the universe to harm innocent people for profit. That's unacceptable. So anyway, I know this is a touchy topic for some of you guys. I do have another video coming after this on a similar topic. The next topic will be how does a person guard against the spider binding spells of witchcraft? And does knowing about it and finding and destroying the ritual devices help? So that will be my next video. Please like, comment, share if you feel inclined to do so. And I hope everybody's doing well today. I'm going to sign off for now.